Really was a spectacular drive in qualifying this morning. He did have several laps discounted through exceeding track limits, but he got one that stuck and it put him on pole position as we look there at Dylan Pereira for Fork Racing and one of our championship contenders. The qualifying session this morning did feature a red flag, and that was because Jukka Honkavuori had a big moment, went into the fence, did quite a lot of damage, and it was bodywork and radiator, so the car was repairable, and with the help of the MRS mechanics from GT Masters, they managed to get that car back together, and Jukka Honkavuori is able to join the grid, albeit from the back for this race. We have a couple of guest starters in this race as well. Alexander Fack, who made his debut in the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany last week at Lausitzring, is back once again. And we are joined by Bastian Buss in the number 22 Allied racing car. And the young 17-year-old, somebody very special coming up through the ranks and has proven how good he is by qualifying 11th on the grid for this race this afternoon. We're looking at the rest of the cars on the grid. There's Rudy van Buren, and he's had a good year here in the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. His best result so far has been a 4th place, and that was last time out at Lausitzring. And the Lausitzring is where we've come from. We were there this time last week, and we've travelled approximately 280 kilometres from the Lausitzring here to Oschersleben. A lot of the teams stayed on site and prepared their cars here in Oschersleben, so I've been here for a few days. When they arrived, it was raining and cold and wet, but we're very pleased to say conditions have dried up and it is sunny. The skies are blue and it is dry and there is no rain forecast. And after the last 2 events that we've had, that is good news for everybody. You can see there the championship battle. Lauren Heinrich no longer in the driver battle. It's between Ten Voorde and Dylan Pereira. There are 50 points available this weekend, 25 for each race. And Voorde's lead is just 9 points, and he is starting behind Dylan Pereira in this race. It's 25 points for a win, 20 for second, 16 for third. So it really is anybody's guess. This is what we like to see. It's close racing in the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany as the cars start on the first of 2 formation laps, and that's giving the drivers a chance to get a little bit more heat into the tyres and into the brakes here at the Motorsport Arena Oschersleben. It's a track that is 3.667 kilometres around. That equates to about 2.2 miles. So it's a fairly short track. As you can see from your graphic, the air conditions 11.8 degrees centigrade, so it has warmed up quite a bit since this morning, but it's still quite chilly. Track temperature just 7.7 degrees centigrade. This circuit has 14 turns, 7 to the left and 7 to the right, and very little in the way of gradient change. The track is very narrow, 11 to 13 metres wide, and not a lot of overtaking opportunities. The best overtaking opportunity is probably into turn 1, but that is also the scene of many accidents because it's a very, very tight corner that is preceded by the long pit straight. And that pit straight really is the best opportunity to pick up a slipstream and make a move. But we've seen in some of the other classes that have been racing here already this weekend, overtaking really is very, very difficult. And of all the tracks that we visit during the year, this is the hardest. You can see the rookie classification. Lauren Heinrich from Julian Hanses and Diego Bertinelli. They are the only 3 drivers in the hunt for the rookie title. The Pro-Am title has been decided already. It was Carlos Rivas who sewed that one up last week at Lausitzring. And the team championship is also up for grab. Fork Racing leading Nebulous Racing by Huber by 32 points and 49 points ahead of T3 HRT Motorsport. As you can see, we're on to our 2nd formation lap. The drivers weaving to try and get some heat into those tyres. And it really is quite a challenge in these chilly conditions. We saw a lot of cars sliding off in qualifying this morning. And of course, the most notable being Jukka Honkavuori, who received all of that damage. But pleased to say, it's all back together and he's on the track. Sadly, there are no spectators to watch the racing here this weekend. It is a behind closed door event. But we're expecting a close battle. This championship is likely to go down to the last corner of the last race, which is what we like to see. And it really is very, very close indeed, and too close to call. Here comes the starting grid for the first of two races this weekend. Lauren Heinrich for T3 HRT Motorsport with Dylan Pereira alongside, looking to retake that championship lead. And of course, he is racing for Fork Racing. Championship leader Larry Tenforda starts third on the grid with the winner from last week, Leon Kohler, alongside him. Then it's Julian Hanses, who is challenging for that rookie title alongside Rudy Van Buren. Then Joey Mawson and Lucas Ertel. Kay Van Berlo and Diego Bertinelli make up row 5. And then row 6, the visiting Bastian Buss and Felix Neuhofer. Good to see him back after being unwell last week. Row 7, Carlos Rivas, who clinched the Pro-Am title with another guest driver, Alexander Fack, back for their second weekend running. And then Stefan Raykop and Matthias Jeserik bringing a bit of experience to row 8. Yuka Hungavari, after that accident in qualifying this morning, at the back of the grid. We'll see what he can do there in the MRS GT Racing Porsche. So we're just coming out of the final corner and onto the grid, and very, very shortly the cars will be making a clutch start as they get ready for the race. First race of 2 this weekend. It's race 10 of an 11-race series, a series that started in Le Mans back in September, went to the Saxon Ring, then to the Red Bull Ring, and Lausitz Ring last week, and here we are ready for the season closer. We're just going to wait for those final few cars to find their place at the back of the grid, and there's the repaired Yuka Hungavari car just taking his position. And we wait for indication at the back of the grid, and very, very shortly 5 red lights will come on, and when they go off we will be ready to go racing. Here we come, 5 red lights, and we're off. It's race 1 for the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany here at Oschersleben this weekend. Lauren Heinrich moving across to try and block off Dylan Pereira. Dylan Pereira making a great start and leading the field into turn 1. So Dylan Pereira doing exactly what he needed to do to get his championship back on track. Here comes Larry Tenforda on the inside of Lauren Heinrich. So our 1-2 in the championship, our 2-1 in the race. It's Dylan Pereira leading the way. Larry Tenforda, the 2 T3 HRT cars running together. That's Leon Kohler having a little look on the outside of Lauren Heinrich. And Julian Hanses is in there as well. So here come the field of cars. Dylan Pereira made a great start and he leads into the first few corners. Larry Tenforda into second. And the championship 1-2 are once again resuming the battle that has been raging all season long. And Dylan Pereira doing exactly what he needs to do if he wants to get to the top of the points again. You can see some dust rising up above the circuit in the background. It looks as though somebody may have been off. We'll keep an eye on that. We've got half an hour of racing ahead of us. There are yellow flags waving on this straight. That's just been lifted away. So there was a yellow flag waving, and that's suddenly been retracted. But here comes our leader, and another car picking up a bit of dirt. Lauren Heinrich and Leon Kohler, the 2 teammates coming together. And now Kohler, who is full of confidence, having picked up that win last week at the Lausitz Ring. And now lining up Lauren Heinrich to try and take that position away. And we're keeping an eye on Julian Hanses in the other of the Fork Racing Porsches. And Julian Hanses, who wants to keep the rookie championship alive. But Lauren Heinrich, 20 points ahead. And he's got a lot of work to do if he wants to stay in the battle. So Heinrich getting it wrong, going into the corner, a little bit of a wobble under braking, but holds on to the position. And Julian Hanses getting out wide, and Joey Mawson on the inside of Hanses. So Hanses getting it all wrong. It looked like a car going straight on. It was, and it's Lauren Heinrich. So Lauren Heinrich, we saw him darting off at the top of the picture, gets it all wrong, onto the grass and into the fence. And it looks like his race is over. We're almost certainly going to get a safety car. So our pole sitter, Lauren Heinrich, after such a great performance this morning, goes darting off into the fence. You can see how distraught he is. He's not going to be tying up that championship in this race. That's going to go all the way to tomorrow. So Lauren Heinrich will see his big championship lead in the rookie championship eaten away. Here comes the safety car. It's exactly what we expected, because that car is going to need retrieving. So Heinrich getting it all wrong. We did say there was very little traction to be had at this Oschersleben circuit. We'll have another look. Hopefully we'll get a replay and see what happened there. But Heinrich making sizable contact with the fence. He's okay by the looks of things, which is great news. Dylan Pereira's lead, which was about 1.1 seconds, is eaten away. As the cars line up behind the safety car, you can see the Heinrich car in the tyre wall. That was quite a big impact he made. Let's have another look here. And was it any contact? No, it wasn't. It looked like he got it wrong. And it looks like there's some fluid of some sort on that corner. Whether that's oil or water or whatever it is, he survived that. Here's the long shot, and he just goes deep into the corner. Now, whether he just got off the racing line and lost traction, or whether there was some fluid down, whatever it was, Heinrich went straight on, and this was his view. And that must be a horrible feeling as you're scooting across the gravel trap on the grass and then bang into the fence. The car goes airborne briefly and then back to a halt. And Julian Hanses is left wondering what on earth happened. And you can see the Nebulous Racing by Huber team looking on, including Christoph Huber. And you just feel the impact as these cars go in, and that was the view from Leon Kohler. So good news that there was no contact between the two teammates, because that really would not have gone down too well. And Leon Kohler gets that place. So Laurin Heinrich out of the car by the looks of things. The yellow flags are waving, the safety car is out, and it's going to take a lap or two just to get that out of the way. Having another look at the start from the perspective of Larry Tenforder, and you can see Laurin Heinrich moves across to block Dylan Pereira. Dylan Pereira has got his nose in front and into that really sharp turn one under braking, and Pereira drops in front, and Larry Tenforder is not able to at that point, but then barges his way through. And this is what it looks like. This is a great view looking back at Larry Tenforder. We're looking at that again. And Tenforder did look to the outside, then cut back to the inside. And you can see his championship rival getting away. And this is looking back from Laurin Heinrich. He did such a good job putting it on pole position this morning, and it's all turned into nothing. He saw Dylan Pereira coming through, and then clonk, there comes Larry Tenforder saying, yep, don't close the door, I'm coming through as well, mate. Barges his way through. This is the view from Dylan Pereira. And you could see Heinrich moving across to try and shut the door on him. And that's a view from up above. And you can see there was a spinner there, looked like Diego Bertinelli and Felix Neuhofer. No, it wasn't Bertinelli, it was Alexander Fack in the car that's identical to Bertinelli. So Alexander Fack getting together as well there. And that has been reported to the stewards for investigation. So Felix Neuhofer, who wasn't feeling too good last weekend and was unable to race, great to see him back this weekend. But still, the work continues to get the Laurin Heinrich machine removed from the circuit and back to the T3 HRT Motorsport pit. And Heinrich, understandably very frustrated, staring ahead and thinking about what he's got to do. He came into this race with a 20-point lead over Julian Hanses in the Rookie Championship, but now Julian Hanses is in a position to take the lead of the Rookie Championship. So Laurin Heinrich has gone from potential winner of the championship to dropping down to second in the course of just 10 minutes of this race, or less than 10 minutes. The safety car is out. It's Dylan Pereira leading the way from Larry Tenforder and Leon Kohler, and Julian Hansis in the number 81 car that we were looking at just then, who is currently circulating in 5th place ahead of Kay Van Berlo and Diego Bertinelli, and they are all fighting for that rookie championship. And suddenly Julian Hansis finds himself in the box seats to take the lead in the championship standings. So there's Diego Bertinelli, working hard to keep heat in the tyres, and notification that the safety car is in on this lap, so very, very shortly the lights will go off on the safety car and control will be handed over to Dylan Pereira. There we go, and it'll be Pereira whose job it will be to back the pack up as we see the Lauren Heinrich car being towed away. It'll be Pereira's job to back the pack up. It will be Larry Tenforder's job to anticipate when Pereira might go, and it'll be Leon Kohler's job to pick up the pieces if the two of them get together. So we've got 21 minutes of this race remaining, plus 1 lap, and Dylan Pereira has his main championship rival breathing down his exhaust pipe. Coming into this race, Tenforder was 9 points ahead. There's 25 points for a win and 20 points for second, so if they finish as they are, Tenforder's lead will be down to 4 points. Here we go, out of turn 14, and we're on to the start-finish straight. We're racing again. Dylan Pereira moving across to block Larry Tenforder. Tenforder knows this is probably one of his best opportunities to get past into turn 1 and then round into the hotel corner. Dylan Pereira goes quite deep. Larry Tenforder looking at the inside. He sees a gap but can't make it stick. Dylan Pereira holding in front. Now comes Tenforder again, taking a completely different line through the corner. This is all or nothing for Larry Tenforder. Leon Kohler staying in contact as well. The view from Larry Tenforder looking at the Dylan Pereira car. Here they race. It's the leader. 1, 2, 3 all together. Leon Kohler just behind. Dylan Pereira leading the way, and Larry Tenforder did try to make a move on those first few corners, but Pereira seems to have the pace as they get back up to speed, and Larry Tenforder working hard in second place, bumping across the curbs. So here they come, and through the chicane, and the drivers need to be very careful because track limits have been an issue, and especially in that corner, turn 9, with a number of drivers picking up warnings in qualifying this morning. And the steward not showing a lot of patience when it comes to track limits, quite understandably, the ongoing saga of track limits. Less than 20 minutes of this race remaining. It's Dylan Pereira who leads the way from the championship leader, Larry Tenforder. To remind you, if things finish as they are now, then Tenforder's lead will be just 4 points. A drive-through penalty for car 57 for a jump start. So Rudy Van Buren, who is currently down in 11th place, is going to have to serve that drive-through penalty. And with the cars all stacked up like this, that will drop him to the very back of the race. So that's very bad news for him. But jumping the start, a definite no-no. And he finds himself relegated to the pit lane, keeping to the speed limit. Here come our lead trio, just breaking away a little bit from 4th place Joey Mawson, who's having a better day of it. He didn't have the best of times at the Lausitz ring. And there's Yuka Honkavori in the number 14 car, up to 9th place. So after the dramas this morning, the car's back together and seemingly in pretty good shape. So into the afternoon sun we run. It's Dylan Pereira, who's just pulled out a bit of a gap from 2nd place Larry Tenforder and Leon Kohler. Then a gap back to Joey Mawson in the number 96 car. And Joey Mawson, who's looking to get his season back on track. He missed half the practice session on Thursday due to an engine problem, and really has not had the best of luck so far this year. His best result so far has been a 6th place. In fact, he's had 4 of those throughout this year, and he is in a good position to improve on that. 4th place at the moment. Riding on board with Diego Bertinelli, and he is down in 7th place, and he's 3rd place in the race for the rookies. He's also 3rd place in the rookie championship. So there's Mawson at the back of that queue, and then Julian Hansis, whose Christmas has come early with the accident involving Lauren Heinrich. And then there is Kay Van Berlo in the number 12 car, and then Diego Bertinelli. The four of those cars all in a train together. So looking back at Kay Van Berlo from the perspective of Julian Hansis. So Dylan Pereira about 8/10 clear of Larry Tenforder at the front. And the battle we're focusing on, fourth place, being led by Joey Mawson for FAC Autotech. And he's got the Fork Racing car of Julian Hansis behind him. And the Nebulous Racing by Huber, Kay Van Berlo. And then the FAC Autotech of Diego Bertinelli. There you can see the rookie prediction. So Julian Hansis will jump to the top of the rookie championship if things finish as they are now. And Lauren Heinrich, having come into this race with a 20-point lead, will now find himself with a 5-point deficit. And Diego Bertinelli is still back in the hunt. This is quite a scrap. These cars all very much the same, apart from setup and wing angle and ride height. They are very identical Porsche 911s, and quite hard work to drive, and very much bringing driver talent to the forefront. So this battle for fourth place continues to rage on. It's Joey Mawson ahead of Julian Hansis, Kay Van Berlo bumping over the curbs, and Diego Bertinelli. And really testing the suspension and the build quality of these cars. Here we come, four in a row, and then there's a gap. And the gap is back from Diego Bertinelli to Lucas Ertel, and then Jukka Hunkavori. And there is our championship prediction. If things finish as they are, Larry Tenforder will still be at the top of the points, but Dylan Pereira just 4 points behind, and it really will be for race 2 tomorrow, whichever of the two finishes in front of the other, providing it's in the top half of the field, that person will be the champion. So that really does take it down to the absolute wire. But of course, we've still got 14 and a half minutes of this race still to go. And Dylan Pereira still needs to bring it home, and Larry Tenforder still needs to keep it in second place. This is quite a scrap for fourth place. Leon Kohler, a relatively lonely third, and it's fourth place that our focus is on, because Joey Mawson has got Julian Hansis behind him. Hansis needs to keep it together, not throw anything away, because suddenly he's been given a gift, and it'll be the top of the point standings in the rookie championship. And you can see him getting that car right up on two wheels. Amazing driving from Julian Hansis, bouncing the cars across the curbs. The Fork Racing Porsche 911. Really strong stuff. Great advert for Porsche. And Kay Van Berlo is in there as well. We can see him with Diego Bertinelli ready to pick up the pieces. This Oschersleben circuit not presenting loads of opportunities for overtaking, and the best opportunities coming by hassling the driver in front into a mistake. But Joey Mawson is holding it all together. The young Australian driver looking to record his best finish of the season. At the front, Dylan Pereira still holds a 9/10 lead over second place Larry Tenforder. But this is the battle we're focusing on. See in the background, Lucas Ertel is coming under pressure from Jukka Hunkavori. And then here comes our Pro-Am champion Carlos Rivas with Stefan Raykop and Matthias Jeserik behind. So the three Pro-Am drivers all together on the track. That is the 1, 2, 3 in the Pro-Am category in this race. Carlos Rivas having tied that up with 2 races to spare this season. and he can really just race for enjoyment, bouncing the car across the curbs. The Porsche 911 fairly forgiving over the curbs, and you can see that as they bounce across. We have 12 minutes plus 1 lap of this race remaining. Carrera leading in the main race. This is the Pro-Am race, and it's Carlos Rivas leading the way. A little bit of something trailing from the front wing, doesn't seem to be affecting him too much. And Julian Hansis leading the rookie race, currently in 5th place on the track. So 3 races that we're keeping an eye on. And this is the main one. It's for the overall Drivers' Championship. Dylan Pereira leading the way. Larry Tenforda keeping him within sight, but not finding much that he can throw at Dylan Pereira to get past. We've seen it a couple of times this season where Larry Tenforda has gone too hard too soon and cooked the tyres and allowed Dylan Pereira to catch and pass. But we haven't seen it happen with Dylan Pereira, who does seem to have better tyre preservation. And once he gets out in the lead, he's proving to be a very difficult man to pass. Again, bumping over that chicane. The car's going up onto 2 wheels. And down we come out of the McDonald's turn. There's no drive-through at this McDonald's. It is just a straight down towards the Shell curve. Then a quick flick to the right and the left around Ammon curve and down towards Bauer. We can see again how much air these cars are getting. Sliding across. And Bertinelli drifting it as well. It looks like he's just having a ball out there, doesn't it? I'm sure he's not doing it for fun. Trying to hustle that Porsche around in the quickest time possible, giving it absolutely everything. These identical cars, all down to driver skill. We're leading, we're into the last third of the race, 10 minutes left. It's Dylan Pereira who leads overall from Larry Tenforda. This is the battle, which includes the rookie fight, Joey Mawson, who's not a rookie, but behind him, Julian Hansis, Kevan Berlo and Jago Bertinelli, looking for the 1, 2, 3 in the rookie championship. And then the Pro-Am championship, which is running in 10th, 11th and 12th overall, which has been led by Carlos Rivas from Stefan Rakoff and Matthias Jeserik. We look again at the prediction. If things finish as they are, Larry Tenforda will have his 9-point lead, and team boss Christoph Hubert looks on nervously. That 9-point lead will be reduced to just 4. Only 2 drivers now in the overall Drivers' Championship, and you're looking at both of them there. They're running 1-2 on the track. They've been running 1-2 for most of the season. And Larry Tenforda, who led the championship for so much of last year and then suddenly got overhauled in the second half of the year, having dominated it, trying to undo that this year. He led much of the championship at the beginning. He won the opening race of the season at Le Mans, and then Dylan Pereira came along, picked up his first win in Porsche Carrera Cup Germany, followed that up with a second, and then followed that up with 4 wins in a row, which put him right at the top of the championship. Larry Tenforda enjoying the wet conditions at Lausitzring last week a lot better than Dylan Pereira did, and got himself back to the top of the point standings. But now Dylan Pereira replies, and we're going to be heading into race 2 tomorrow, potentially with them almost neck and neck in the points. Leon Kohler circulates about 2.7 seconds back in the T3 HRT Motorsport Porsche in 3rd place, and then a gap back to Joey Mawson, and that battle for 4th rages on with 5th, 6th and 7th fighting for the honour of top step in the race of the rookies. So Lauren Heinrich will be watching this from the side of the track, thinking about what might have been. He was so impressive this morning, as Christoph Huber says, come on, get past him. Oh, if only it was that easy, eh? Lauren Heinrich, who started on pole position and then had that impact with the barrier and sees his rookie championship lead eaten away. And Dylan Pereira, who has led so much of this season with the very popular Larry Tenvoorde from the Netherlands, who, when there are spectators present, normally travels with a very vocal fan club who turn up with their banners. And sadly, that fan club is absent this weekend because this event is behind closed doors. But Larry Tenvoorde is still putting on a good show. He wants to give them something to cheer about if they're watching. And he continues to hassle Dylan Pereira. He almost got that move past in the opening lap of the restart. Couldn't make it stick. Now trying to pressure Dylan Pereira into making a mistake. But Dylan Pereira looking pretty solid in the Fork Racing Porsche at the front of this race with a little under 6.5 minutes left, plus 1 lap. Looking back from Pereira. And Larry Tenvoorde flashing the lights, throwing everything that he can to distract Dylan Pereira, hoping that the flashing in his mirror will distract Pereira enough to go straight on. Looking at a replay of Carlos Rivas bouncing over the curbs, part of the car hanging off at the front and collecting that little marker, and that's given him a black and white flag for disrespecting track limits. And the stewards keeping an eye on that. A black and white flag is not a penalty, but if he does it again, he may well pick up a drive-through. We're looking back at Larry Tenvoorde. He's giving it everything. You can see the concentration in his eyes. He's got a little over 5 minutes to find some way of getting past this car that he's been staring at the back of for the entire race. He's fed up with the sight of the back of the Fork Racing Porsche. He's spent much of the season looking at the back of it. Dylan Pereira proving to be a real thorn in his side. Larry Tenvoorde has got 5 minutes to find a way past and try and extend that lead at the top of the championship. So out of turn 14 they come again. Larry Tenvoorde picking up a slipstream along the pit straight, but he's not really close enough as they head into that S that is turn 1, and then round into Hotel turn 2 under braking. Dylan Pereira, the sun in their eyes in this late afternoon, and still Larry Tenvoorde holds on to the back bumper of Dylan Pereira. Can he pressure him into a mistake in these last few minutes of this race? It's race 10 of an 11-race season, a slightly truncated season for the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. And Larry Tenvoorde looking to take his first title. Dylan Pereira took his first win in the series earlier on this year. Can he turn that into a title? You can see the gap on the timing screens. It says 0.2 of a second, but it's varying all the way around. Now 0.4 of a second, but not a lot in it. 3.5 minutes left of this race, plus 1 lap. It's Dylan Pereira leading the way from Larry Tenvoorde. Again, onto the pit straight we come. And again, Larry Tenvoorde not close enough to make a move into turn 1. In the background, there's Leon Kohler very much riding on his own. And the battle for fourth rages on. Joey Mawson holding on to that 4th place. Julian Hanses, Kevin Van Berle and Jago Bertinelli next. And then a gap back to Lucas Ertel and Yuka Honkavori. So Joey Mawson also looking pretty solid in that 4th place. You can see as the light is fading, the drivers have got the sun in their eyes as they come round the corner. Riding the curbs slightly, riding on board now with Jago Bertinelli. Here we come and into the sun. Around we go. And still the places remain unchanged. Kay Van Berlo, who recorded a personal best in sector 1 of that race, of that lap, and Diego Bertinelli monstering him all the way. Again, we head out of McDonald's and down towards Shell. Sounds like a trip around the local streets. And in towards the Amman curve. Julian Hansis in 5th place, his teammate Dylan Pereira leading the way at the front. And this really will be a day of celebration for Fork Racing if things stay as they are, because Julian Hansis will move to the top of the rookie standings and Dylan Pereira will move within 4 points of Larry Tenforder in the overall standings. We're into the closing stages of the race, and all of these championships are going to go to the wire. There's one more race to go after this, and that is tomorrow. And Joey Mawson still holding on to that 4th place. Shade falling across certain parts of the track now. Dylan Pereira still leading the way. Larry Tenforder has really run out of ideas. He's going to have to settle for 2nd place, and then he's got all the work to do tomorrow. He will go into the race tomorrow with a 4-point lead in the championship, and it will be between the two of them, and it really will be gloves off. It's going to be quite a fight as they head into the final race of the season. 4 points in it with 1 race to go. You couldn't write the script. And there we see the two of them together into the closing seconds of this race, plus 1 lap. And Leon Kohler following up his win from last week with a potential podium position here. We're on to the plus 1 lap. And Larry Tenforder once again up with Dylan Pereira. Has he got anything that he can do on this? The closing laps of the race, it doesn't look like it. He's dropped back slightly, not really close enough to do anything. He needs Dylan Pereira to make a mistake, and it doesn't look like that's going to happen. They bump across the curbing once more, and you can see some debris hanging from the Larry Tenforder car. I'm not sure what that is that he's picked up, but doesn't seem to be affecting him too much. So under braking, we are looking through the afternoon sunshine, through the windscreen, as Dylan Pereira starts what will be his final lap of the race. And Larry Tenforder in 2nd place, dropping back now. It looks as though his challenge is over. Leon Kohler, a fairly solid 3rd place. And Joey Mawson still leading that battle for 4th. So the Fork Racing team look on at their driver, Dylan Pereira, and also Julian Hansis, and this 5th place will move him up to the top of the rookie standings and will extend their lead at the top of the team championship. Through the chicane we come one last time up towards McDonald's, and then on to the short straight down towards Shell Curve. Then through the Almond Curve and into Bauer, and very shortly into turn 14, because Dylan Pereira will now see the checkered flag in front of him. Larry Tenforder is going to have to wait till tomorrow, because it's Dylan Pereira who wins race 1 of the weekend. Larry Tenforder in 2nd, and across the line comes Leon Kohler in 3rd. The championship really is going to go down to the wire. Dylan Pereira does exactly what he needs to do, and if he can repeat the same feat tomorrow, he will be champion. So if Larry Tenforder wants to take this championship, he needs to get in front of Dylan Pereira tomorrow and stay in front. So it really is going to be quite a battle as we head into the 11th and final race of the season. For the moment, our winner is Dylan Pereira. As he comes round, and Larry Tenforder in second as we look at the Nebulous Racing by Huber team. So Dylan Pereira taking his 6th win of the season, 6 wins in 10 races, which is quite some feat. Only 4 races this season that he hasn't won, and now he is within striking distance of the championship. If he can make it 7 wins, he will be the champion. There's your classification. After 21 laps is Dylan Pereira from Larry Tenforder and Leon Kohler. So you can see that bit of damage on the front of Larry Tenforder's car. It doesn't look like anything too major, but Larry Tenforder emerges from the cockpit and shuts the door. And he can now feel the breath of Dylan Pereira down his neck in the championship standings. Dylan Pereira did what he needed to do, and now is within striking distance of the championship. Leon Kohler, a solid drive through into 3rd place. His third place of the season, to go with a 2nd place at Le Mans and the win that he took last time out at the Lausitz Ring. Larry Tenforder did what he could do from 2nd place. The drivers just having their weight sorted. And Dylan Pereira must be feeling very confident. He has the momentum. And Larry Tenforder hoping desperately that yet another championship doesn't slip away from him in the closing stages. So a race of mixed fortunes for the T3 HRT Motorsport team. There we see again the classification, just 4 points in it. And Leon Kohler will be delighted with that. Certainly a driver who seems to be getting stronger and stronger as time goes by. There's Carlos Rivas, our Pro-Am champion. So as the sun goes down over the Oschersleben Motorsport Arena, we will very shortly be looking to the podium and the 1, 2, 3. But our focus is very much on tomorrow now, because this really is a battle that will go down to the wire. Something that promoters love, when the battle goes to the wire, not so much the drivers. I'm sure Larry Tenforder would have preferred this to have been a 10-race season and not an 11-race season. course, some of the events this year, we've had 3 races over a weekend, and that happened at Sachsenring and at the Red Bull Ring. So quite an intense schedule with this much delayed season. There's our 3rd place for T3 HRT Motorsport. It's Leon Kohler. Second place for Nebulous Racing by Huber. There's Larry Tenforder. At the drive that moves to within 4 points of the championship lead for Fourth Racing, it's Dylan Pereira. So lots of congratulations all around in Parc Fermé. The 1, 2, 3 together there. Larry Tenforder saying to Dylan Pereira, just you watch and wait for tomorrow. So here comes 3rd place, Leon Kohler onto the podium. In 2nd place, it's Larry Tenforder. And for Fourth Racing, the winner of race 10 in an 11-race series, he did what he had to do. He's now within 4 points of the championship lead, Dylan Pereira. And now the national anthem. So the Luxembourg taking the national anthem, it's Dylan Pereira. So the trophies picked up as opposed to awarded. And then very shortly the celebrations will start, but they will be very short celebrations because very soon the attention will turn to tomorrow, because the championship is going down to the wire. 10 races down, 1 to go, and there's 4 points in it. Is it going to be Larry Tenforder? Is it going to be Dylan Pereira? It really is too close to call. Dylan Pereira knows his way around the Oschersleben circuit, but Larry Tenforder is a wily old dog, and it could easily go either way. Don't forget, we have the rookie championship as well. Lauren Heinrich, Julian Hansis, and Diego Bertinelli, and any one of those 3 could win it. And of course the team championship as well. It really is going to be very exciting and one not to miss. It's tomorrow morning that race 2 and the final race of the season happens. Join us then. It's going to be one not to miss. It's too close to call. Let's find out what happens tomorrow. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.